Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into this evening's edition of Reporter's Notebook. Today I have Miss Emily here with me in the studio. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Okay, I'm a bit jealous because I was looking on your Instagram because I just stalk your social media pages, but I noticed that you were somewhere warm and near the beach and near the
Yes.
water. How was that?
Oh, it was wonderful. So I got a little vacation this weekend. I got to go to Cocoa Beach, Florida, spend some time with my family. My grandfather was getting remarried, so it was just a beautiful sunny beach weekend. It was perfect. So happy to be back though. Very happy to be back.
Yes, and I'm happy to have you here with me in the
Yes.
studio and talk about your story for the day, which is something that concerns me because I have a dog.
Yep.
And your story has to do with not only dogs, but pretty much anyone who has a furry little pet that they're looking after, their little companion. So can you tell us what your story was about today?
Definitely. So today I'm kind of combining two aspects of this story. So we're talking about 4th of July weekend and how to prepare your pets for that aspect, of course, because fireworks, loud noises, big gatherings. And then, of course, as we head into July, we're getting into those hotter summer months. So also just some general tips and tricks on summer safety, heat safety when it comes to your pets as well. So I got to speak with Joe Brees. He is one of the Greenville City animal control officers who works with the Greenville Police Department. And he gave me some great tips and tricks to share with you guys. Things like, obviously, as we head into these summer months, if you can avoid it, just don't bring your pet with you in the car. Try to avoid that as much as possible unless you're going to, a specifically pet friendly place. Trying to minimize the amount of time that they're spending in the car is super important. And then always a great rule of thumb, I'm sure many of you have heard this, is taking the back of your hand, placing it on the pavement for a few seconds and figuring out the temperature. And if it's, a little too uncomfortable for your hand after just those few seconds, then that pavement is definitely too hot for your pet to walk on. And I talk about in my story later today that you guys will see that, on days like today where it's almost 90 degrees outside, that means the pavement and sidewalks can be upwards of 150 degrees for your pet's paws. So it's very important to just be aware of these things. And there's tons more tips and tricks for heat safety, and of course a bunch of tips and tricks for how to keep your pet comfortable and stress-free and calm this weekend with all of the ruckus that'll be going on.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we definitely need to be aware of is this heat.
Yeah.
I was actually, Emily, you know this, I was in the ER last
Yes.
Monday because I was dehydrated.
Yeah.
And it really just catches up on you. It really
It does.
does.
And the humidity here, too, is just, we were just talking about this, the difference between even just the humidity in Florida and here in North Carolina is so drastic, not only for our pets, but for ourselves. It's something, as we get into these hotter months, we need to be so much more cautious and aware of just what we're doing every day to keep ourselves healthy and safe and our pets too.
And as we're heading into 4th of July weekend, just really be aware of the signs of what dehydration is. And then also be aware whether or not your animals are dehydrated. Just because it might not feel hot for you, remember that they have a coat on, so it might feel a little bit, warmer, more humid for them. Imagine just being out in this heat and then wearing like a jacket. I can't imagine that. I would be in the hospital. Like
I know, really.
or I would feel as if our animals, I don't know if dogs sweat. Do dogs sweat?
Actually, that's a good question. I'm sure they have to, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess I think their panting is their way of sweating. I think panting is.
Exactly. So it's something that just to be aware of, especially as we head into 4th of July weekend. It's gonna be a lot of people are gonna be excited because they're gonna be out, and celebrating something we couldn't do last 4th of July.
Definitely.
So there's gonna be a lot of excitement. Just stay hydrated. Take care of yourself. Emily, before we go, what are your 4th of July plans?
Oh gosh, I really have none. Honestly, I have not. I know it's this week and I have not planned that far ahead. I have no clue what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully just enjoying, if it's a nice day out, just enjoying the day with, my boyfriend and my dog, and enjoying that nice outdoor weather because, sometimes we're cooped up here in the studio trying to get our work done. So it's always nice to step outside for a moment and just enjoy that. And one more thing I do want to say, sorry, that I think is so important, especially ahead of this weekend, that Officer Brees was telling me, was that make sure that you have your pets either microchipped, they have a collar on with either the rabies tag, just their normal collar and tag on them with your information, because, you know, God forbid your pet does get out this weekend or something startles them, or, you know, they get out for any reason other than, you know, 4th of July weekend, that if they do get out, people are able to find them and then find you through that information. So you're able to get your baby back as fast as possible. So
yeah, that's a great tip. You know, especially since a lot of these Facebook groups, I notice that a lot of people will find animals and they're like, it's not microchipped. Like we found it on this street or this intersection and we don't know who it belongs to. So
yeah, I mean, I had that scare. I think I told you about this less than a week ago. My cat got out, and she is not microchipped, and I had just recently taken her collar off earlier that week, and she got out. Luckily, she came back within a few hours, but you know, it's very important. Just be aware, because that was my biggest fear. Is I was like, oh my gosh, she doesn't have her collar on. If someone finds her, they're never gonna know, you know, to bring her back to me. So think these things, plan ahead. You know, we want to keep our furry friends safe this weekend.
Yes, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for joining me on this evening's edition of Reporter's Notebook. And you can find Emily's story along with those tips and tricks at WNCT.com in the online originals tab. All right, everyone. I hope everyone stays safe, stays hydrated, and has a wonderful week.
A very fun weekend.
Yes. Bye.